Toy Story 4 arrived in theaters in 2019 as the sequel nobody expected. After Toy Story 3 delivered what many considered the perfect trilogy ending, Disney reopened the toy box with a story about Woody questioning his purpose and meeting Forky, a spork-turned-toy having an existential crisis. The film earned over $1 billion worldwide and critical acclaim for its stunning animation and emotional depth, but also sparked debate among fans about whether this beautiful story enhanced or undermined the previous film's farewell. Was this a necessary continuation of the story, or should some endings remain untouched? Find out our thoughts as we watch another movie at Grandma's house. Hello, please come in. There's some fresh cookies in the cookie jar. There's a pitcher of Kool-Aid on the counter. Have a seat and make yourself comfortable. I'm your host, Isaac. Trash. And who's reviewing with me Toy Story 4?
This is Seth. There's a snake in my boot.
Very nice. It's great to see you. I'm really excited for this one. How you feeling?
I'm really, really excited for this one.
It's no secret. We have enjoyed the Toy Story series. We did the first 3 in season 2 of our peak Pixar series. We thought we're going to come back to this eventually, and here we are. So we cannot wait to get into this one. But before we do, for you, the listener at home, we want to make sure you are fully aware we are going into spoiler territory. So from here on out, consider yourself warned. So let's get into some film facts. This is Toy Story 4. It was released on June 21st, 2019. It had a budget of $200 million. However, the box office made over $1.074 billion with a B. Looking at some reviews, IMDb has it at 7.6 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is a 96%. Letterboxd sits at a 3.4 out of 5. Currently, as of this recording, you can watch it for free on Disney Plus streaming, and it stars the familiar faces that we know. Tom Hanks as Woody, you have Tim Allen as Buzz, Joan Cusack, Tony Hale is the new character Forky. It's in association with Pixar Animation Studios and Walt Disney Studios. But last but not least, we have got to get to Granny's family-friendly rating. So Seth, what is that rating?
Granny's family-friendly rating for Toy Story 4 is a B for adult themes and some intense scenes.
So there you go. It's still the continuation of Toy Story, though, what you've come to expect. So with that, again, it's not holding back our enjoyment of the series, but I am very interested. This was all the way back in 2019 that this came out. What are some of your first memories with this film?
So I saw this on the big screen. I remember not caring much for it on the first viewing.
You know, that was very in line with mine too. I was hearing a lot of people that really liked this movie, and they're like, this is great. And when I saw the previews, I was kind of that side of, why are they making another one? I thought the third one did such a good job of wrapping up the story. And certainly it's interesting. It piqued my interest. Okay, so what's happening now? But I don't remember enjoying it that much. I didn't hate it. I just thought, I thought the original trilogy did a really good job. So that's kind of my first memories. I remember watching it. I didn't see it in theaters. I want to say it was probably coming out later. So that kind of tells you my interest. I didn't have as much interest to start with. But with that said, it was back in 2019. Some years have gone by. So what were your expectations going back on the rewatch?
So sit back and take it in.
Yeah, I wanted to give this a little more, my expectations were give it a little more just attention, I guess. I don't know if it's the right word, but just see what they were going for with it. Because I think in your mind, when you have such a resolve, you're just really involved and immersed in a universe. You almost in your mind think of what a sequel should be. And I think that's what it was when this first came out. So I was going back of, I'm going to have a more open mind with this. And the usual, watch my kids have fun with this one. They really enjoy the Toy Story series, but kind of have a different look on it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say when it comes to my expectations. Well, before we get into the plot rewind, let's pause just a moment to hear from our sponsors.
Hey, love movies as much as we do? Then bring the experience of the theater to your walls with movieposters.com. Whether you're into the classics, the blockbusters, or indie gems, they have something for every single film fanatic. As a listener of our podcast, you can save up to 15% on your order right now. Just use code Grandma's House at checkout. Head to movieposters.com and let's build your ultimate collection today.
Okay, and if you want to make movie night more fun, be sure you get on our newsletter right now. You can get our customizable movie tickets. I did this with my kids. They have a ball with it because it brings that theater experience home. So if you have not already, be sure you're signed up on our newsletter. We'll get this emailed over to you to make your movie night more fun. Well, let's pull up streaming. Disney Plus, let's select Toy Story 4 and press play.
There's a new toy in town. His name is Forky. Join Woody, Buzz, and everyone on the fourth installment to the Toy Story franchise. Bonnie's family goes on a road trip, and Woody gets lost along the way. A happy coincidence when he meets back up with Bo Peep. Then he questions his life and has to make some more decisions. Grab a popcorn, prepare yourself for another classic at Grandma's.
There you go. This is like old times. It's just like, we're back with the gang. We're back with all these characters. That's just what kind of hits me. It's a fun just experience to jump back into it. That's the thing that just hits me right away. But I'm really curious. What is your first impressions as you watch the film?
I think you mentioned it. So the great animation and a strong story. The animation for this one is much different than the others. And I thought it was very strong and keeping up with the times.
Yes. The animation is just wow. Like I thought it was impressive back when I watched it. Technology advances, they get better and better. It seems like in certain situations they might get worse because the animators get lazy or whatever, the time crunch on the studios. But This you can definitely see. I mean, the progression of Pixar. This is like a highlight, I think. If you're going to look at what is Pixar and its animation about, if you want to show one of their better ones, I mean, this is up there to me. This is just gorgeous animation, starting with the Bo Peep flashback of her going to a new owner, Woody trying to save her, keep her from going. That whole sequence is just, I don't know what it was. It just brought me in, and the animation had a lot to do with that. But I actually, on the rewatch, the first time I watched it, I was kind of like, okay, this is nice, but I appreciated it much more. I don't know what it was about the rewatch, just going back to it, maybe being older, maybe that's part of it too. But I really like that angle they took with it. And that just hits me right off the bat of this is the story we're going with, of more of, you've heard about the lost toy, quote unquote, and that's what toys don't want to be. They take that concept and they go with it. And it's actually a really clever idea going. What did you think of that concept of that part of the plot?
Yeah. This movie, and I'll talk about this more, but this movie has a very thematic, theatrical sense to it. The storyline is, to me, very strong. I'll just jump into it. Okay, so the plot. So this is more of like a book than a movie, if you ask me. With the grown-up decisions and even the scary moments at times, I feel like the plot grows, even though a lot of the people hate on this one. It's more like it's more grown up and like it's hard to see things change at times. But I felt like it had a really strong plot.
I agree. That's the characters are the characters. Now, you can nitpick of these aren't the same voice actors, but that's a given. Just some of them have passed away, so that's going to happen. But the characters, I think, for the most part, we'll get into the characters. I don't want to jump into them yet because I want to go back to the plot. But other than the characters, I agree. The plot is kind of actually what shines here. That's actually what's neat, because to me, when I heard Toy Story 4, okay, they're just going to get them together and there's going to be some kind of child that wants them or whatever. No, this has a lot of layers to it. Like you said, it is like a book. It's following Woody, and he's trying to make Bonnie happy, but Woody's not really that leader anymore of the group, and he's feeling a little bit of a disconnect. this new character, Forky, is what brings Bonnie joy. So now that's Woody's intent. That's his focus. And along the way, he reunites with Bonnie. You have just all these new characters thrown into the mix. Like you said, that's a really good way to put it. It's just like you're reading a book and you're following a character, but they go on this adventure and there's all these new characters along the way, some familiar that are reunited, but that's a really good way to put it. I really did like that, though. I don't think I liked it the first. I'll go back to it. I'm just impressed with it gets better with time. I've seen this several times because going back to my kids enjoy Toy Story, and there's times where I'm watching it, but I think every time I watch it, I enjoy it that much more. Do you feel the same way?
Exactly. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah. There's something about, I think the plot has a lot to do with that, but the plot is solid. I think that's something that took me by surprise. But let's talk about the characters because, again, they're familiar, but there's some new ones there. What'd you think of the characters? And it can be anything.
So your opening quote was trash. I mean, Forky is brilliant. I love the idea that he's obsessed with being in the garbage. It's very cute. And then Tony Hale is just an amazing voice. So I think they really casted well. I also love the classic comedians. They have a lot of older comedians in this one, which was really a good idea. I just loved it. And then we got our regulars. I mean, it's just a really strong cast for sure.
I agree. I mean, that's just something about Pixar in general, but the Toy Story series has always been up there to me of just the characters. And even when they add new ones, I mean, you have Keegan-Michael Key as Ducky, you have Jordan Peele as Bunny. Those two guys, it was like, okay, you know what you're going to be in for with these guys in a kid version. And they're great. They're just hilarious. I find them funny. You mentioned Forky. I mean, Forky steals the show, obviously being kind of a part of the plot, kind of that objective where he's now in that antique shop because Gabby wants Woody's voice box, but kind of using him as a hostage, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but using Forky. So Forky is definitely more central to the plot. Ducky and Bunny are kind of those side characters, but I love them. I thought they were great. They're like these brothers that are bickering with each other constantly, like those actors are. They just add a lot of that comedy that you need. Because if it was just Forky, I would have enjoyed it. But it wasn't just a one-sided comedy. You had a different series, if that makes sense. So I really appreciate that. They weren't lazy or just, hey, we'll just throw in one character and be done with it. Yeah. It felt like a passion project of we got to get this right. And I think going back to maybe I didn't appreciate it the first time. This time around, I definitely appreciate it a lot more, I feel like. But yeah, what are some more characters that you want to touch on or bring out?
I got a couple fun facts. So I'm pretty good. I really love the characters in this film. That's all I can say.
Yeah. I will give a negative on the character side. And this might be a me thing because maybe people love this or they liked it about it. The one negative is I think Buzz took a step back in his character because what he started doing was he got really reliant on that inner voice of pressing the button and then whatever he does. And to me that, I don't know, that felt really out of place because Buzz was kind of that, lost, absent-minded toy because he thought I'm Buzz Lightyear in the first movie. You get to the second movie and now he's kind of learned, okay, I'm a toy. And he almost becomes a leader in a sense. You still have Woody leading them, but in the second movie, he's the one who's leading the toys to go rescue Woody. And in the third one, he's also kind of that leader and the daycare center and so on and so forth. You get to this movie, it's like he doesn't know what to do. He's just like, what do I do? I better listen to my voice that this kid has been pressing thousands of times probably by now. And I'll listen. So did you feel that way too? I don't know. Was it me?
It was a little off. Yeah. I did remember we didn't touch on the creepy toys.
Oh no.
So the creepy toys were, when I first watched it, I was like, oh, this is a little bit intense, like too much. But the more I watch it, the more I like them and care for them. Does that make sense?
Really? Like the dummies that are...
Yeah, they don't mean to be creepy. They just are. No. You know what I mean?
No, I never thought they were trying to. I mean, it does at first. When you first see them, you think, whoa, what are they doing? But yeah, you do get some sense they're just carrying out orders from Gabby and stuff, but they're still creepy. they're still, I mean, I think it's
Yeah.
just the way that their head doesn't hold up straight. So they're just, they're just to the side and they're creepy smiles coming and their arms are flailing. Oh man, there's something about that that's just, when you talk intense, I know this is a kid's movie. This is one of the more intense ones. If you're watching this at the wrong time, like at night and about to go to bed, I could see that giving kids nightmares. Something about it, but
For sure.
yeah, I still think they're good despite being creepy. I think they add to that menace of, again, they're not doing something wrong. I think Gabby was kind of, I don't know. Let me ask you that question. What did you think of her character, like her objective and what she's trying to do with Woody?
I liked her arc. I don't know if I liked the character that much, but I liked the arc. There was a lot of growth there. You can see the emotion in her character, which was really cool. Yeah, it added to the plot. It added to the plot a lot.
Yeah. I think she's maybe the weaker of the characters. I agree with you. I'm glad to hear that because I wasn't sure how to feel about her. It was almost this entitled, I should have your voice box. And that's the plot. Like you said, it aids the plot of she's trying to get his voice box and Woody's trying to get Forky back before Bonnie and her family leave and all that. She does have a good arc, though. I agree with you. It's like by the time it's over, she kind of learns from that. Like, well, no, I didn't really need this after all. But other than that, that's pretty much the characters. You know them, you love them. They're what you come to expect. Other than the voice actors, they might be a little bit off, but that's just nitpicking. I think you just have to, as long as the voice actors, their family are fine with it, moving on, whatever. Because I think in past movies, they might have used like unedited or used clips. I don't recall if that's in this or not. And I'm going to stop right there in case it's a fun fact you're going to bring up. But, I'm trying to think of how people would have a problem with the characters. I didn't, other than Buzz. I think that was my only negative. And that was more of a writing thing. I think Tim Allen still shines here. He does a great job in the voice acting along with Tom Hanks. They're all fantastic. I mean, I want to keep going back to Forky. Forky was just so much fun. I loved his just constantly throwing himself in the trash, and they're just like, no. It's just great. It's just wonderful. What are some quotes that you liked or things like that?
I wrote down 3 quotes. The first one from Rex. The panic is attacking me. Buzz. The slingshot maneuver is all we got. Full speed ahead. And then Ducky, I love this one. To infinity and my foot.
Yes. I wrote that one down too because he's swinging and trying to kick him. I laughed at that part. Yeah. Again, those guys are great. I really enjoyed them whenever they were on screen. The one gag is they shoot laser eyes. Like that's how they were thinking of getting Forky back or something. One character we didn't bring out was Duke Kaboom, voiced by Keanu Reeves.
Yes.
He's great. That's another one. He's just got that funny, aspect of he's this trickster, kind of like an Evel Knievel. Yeah.
That just shows you how good the cast was.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
You kind of forget about those characters. I loved him. He's just kind of that side character, but he added so much to it. And he ends up being a big part. He helps them get Gabby to the new owner by jumping across at the end. He has that arc because he's kind of afraid of doing the tricks. But at the end, he does that big stunt, if you want to call it that. But yeah, he was great too. And the reason I bring him up is he has one of my favorite lines too. He asks the Ducky and Bunny, he's like, do you really have laser eyes? And they're like, yeah. He's like, whoa. Being Keanu Reeves, that was just perfect. I was like, yes, they got a whoa in there. That's just kind of his thing, kind of like Owen Wilson's wow. Whoa is kind of Keanu Reeves. It was great. I love that one. You have, again, going back to Forky had a lot of good quotes. Again, we can't praise enough. As something as simple as a spork that just gets turned into a person, it's its own character. It does such a fantastic job with that. But I love his quote. He says, I'm not a toy, I'm a spork. I was made for soup, salad, and maybe chili, then the trash. I'm litter. Freedom!
I love Forky.
Yes. It's like, as much as I could see being annoying at times, if I hung out with him, I don't know why, it feels like I'd have a good time with him. He would just, he's kind of that good balance of silly, but just fun. I don't know. It's hard to describe. So kudos to Pixar. Here we are, Toy Story is celebrating its 30th year as a franchise, and they still were able to come up with a new character that I think is kind of a part of that group. People can think of Forky with Toy Story. All right. Well, I'm sure there's going to be some really good fun facts because, again, we're talking Pixar and Toy Story, so what you got?
In the first film, after Buzz shows off what he can do, Bo declares, "I found my moving buddy." Here, when the two reunite, Bo affectionately refers to Buzz as her moving buddy.
I love that. Yes, that's right. Love that. When you have that continuation, little nods. And of course, we've talked about it. We love the series. So if you can go back and throw nods in like that.
Yes.
That's great.
Among the myriad items of shelves at the antique shop, Bing Bong's rocket from Inside Out and Carl's house from Up can be seen. So there's a lot of different items. I'm going to kind of coming in and out about that. But okay, So Woody pretends to be a phone in the antique store. Woody's pose holding the receiver of an old touch-tone phone is meant to look like the classic Mickey Mouse phone that was ubiquitous in many homes in the 1970s and 80s. And then another one from the store. So when Woody's first reunites with Bo Peep, her sheep bring him various items they scavenge and think that they can use. Of those items are the grape soda cap and safety pin from Up that Ellie used to pin the cap to the Carl shirt, and the soda cap pin becomes hugely important to Carl, and at the end of the film, he gives it to Russell as a token of appreciation and friendship. Bo Peep has zero interest in the soda cap, but separately praises the safety pin.
Yes. I thought I caught that one. That's really cool, though. It's again, I love little nods to the other movies, not just Toy Story, but they can incorporate that. That's so cool.
And in the antique shop, you can see all kinds of stuff. I didn't mention everything. So in the last one, one of the screen canisters from Monsters, Inc. can be seen on sale at the antique store.
Oh, I didn't catch that one. I might have
that's pretty cool.
Caught a few of those you mentioned, but I don't.
There's a bunch. I mean, they spent a lot of time animating that stuff.
It was like free for all at that point. You're talking an antique store. It's like they could have put just anything in there, and I think it would have worked. So that's still cool. Like that, you're gonna miss so much. There's just so many. You gotta freeze frame it. And, that's what the internet was created. The internet was made for those types of things. You can just find the freeze real easy.
All right, it's time for a fun fact trivia question. Are you ready?
I am ready, and I am determined to get back on track. So let's do this.
So true or false? This is the first and only theatrical motion picture to feature comedy duo and longtime best friends Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner. True or false? I can read it again if you need help.
I'm going to go true.
All right, it's true. Congratulations.
Yes.
All their previous appearances together were on stage, television, and documentaries.
That's what was going through my mind. I'm like, they are known for other media. And I'm like, stop overthinking it. Just do it. Just do it.
Good job, bro.
Thank you. That was a question I think I synced with me. So I'm not the best at trivia, but sometimes I just got to go for it. So, all right. I'm a happy camper. Keep this streak going for next time. So let's before we get to our reviews, though, let's take a look around the net, just see what kind of reviews are out there. So, Seth, what are you seeing?
Okay. So James Justice-92 said, not a kid's story, 10 out of 10.
Interesting. So not a kid's story, but he gave it a 10 out of 10. Wow. Okay. But I kind of agree with that. It's more adult, like we talked about, not bad. Just, I think a lot of it's going to go over your head if you're younger. There's not a full, you can enjoy it as a kid, absolutely. So I kind of agree, but I disagree. I mean, there's a lot of sequences for kids and they'll enjoy it. Maybe the whole experience, that 10 out of 10. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
My favorite repeat offender, the little songbird, says, Pixar on the road, 7 out of 10.
All right. We got the familiar face. Always great to hear from them. And they're kind of, I like their perspective. They're not always just 10 out of 10, 1 out of 10. They give a nice variety of reviews. So big shout out to Little Songbird. Great job.
And lastly, Kane Crow 50 says superb 9 out of 10.
Okay. Putting it up there. So overall, I would say pretty favorable, but let's get down to it. Let's share our final rating. So I'm going to start with you, Seth, as always. When it comes to the movie, Toy Story 4, how are you going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to watch it at grandma's? Or are you going to hide it in the attic?
All right. So I'm going to take this home. As mentioned with my first viewing, I wasn't a fan but the sequel at first. But I watched it and it grew on me and I learned to love it more and more. But then after that, I'll say as an overview, this is a clever story with a twist ending. I think the reason it gets a lot of hate is because it's hard for people to let go. It is a very theatrical story, which is told much differently than the other 3 previous films.
Very well put. I can see that for sure. And that's something we didn't really talk on. I think this kind of split the fans a lot, as much as this did really good at the box office. I mean, it's a franchise that it's made its due over the years. It's, again, we talk about 30 years. They have the re-release of the first movie coming out in September. So it's got that going for it. But even with that, I do recall the split. And I will admit, I was one of those. Like, I didn't really think it was a bad movie. I just didn't think it was needed, if that makes sense. However, going back on the rewatch, I think this got a few notches better for me. I wouldn't put this in the attic when I first saw it. I would say it was probably a watch at grandma's. I am going to say I still am going to rate this as a watch it at grandma's. However, when I say it went up a few notches, I would say it's probably that top tier. Like, if I'm visiting grandma's, hey, let's put Toy Story 4 on, because I'm, again, appreciating it more and more as I watch it. Now, I will say the first 2 Toy Stories are almost untouched. And spoiler, if you have not seen our rankings, we went through and we ranked movies we've done. Those are our top movies. Toy Story 1 and 2. That's a high bar to set. Like, how are you going to get there? So that's not a fair judgment that you're comparing. And that's something I realized also. I think the first time I viewed it, I was comparing it. And you just can't do that with this movie. As much as it's a sequel, I feel like if you could somehow, some way make it its own movie and not a sequel, people would have loved it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because what you're saying is true. The story, all of those things are so good. The problem is this is a sequel. So whether it's fair or not, it's going to get compared. And I'm sorry, the first 2 are just untouchable to me. They're just never going to get there. So I give it a very respectable watch it at grandma's. I don't know if it's quite a take it home, but it's getting close. Maybe the more I watch this one, I'll put it there. But to me, the first 2 are just up there. 3 is right there behind it. And then this one, the gaps are closing though. So stay tuned. Maybe we'll reconsider this in the future. And that'll be a fun ranking, I think, to reconsider.
If I can be honestly, I think that first viewing, I probably would have hit it in the attic.
Wow.
But I've watched this movie several times, and I've grown to love it each time more and more. And so it's take it home for me. It's actually, I think it's a very, like you said, it's a standalone. The story is very strong. And if you can get past that separation anxiety at the ending, that plot twist, then it's a really strong film.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really cool. You went from one extreme to the other.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And that's what we're trying to do. You know, with this podcast, we're having a blast. But those are the things I personally appreciate, is when you can have almost a hot and cold difference of this is what it was years ago or when I first saw it to now. Yeah. That's what it's all about. We just encourage, if you've not seen some of these movies from your childhood, even recent, go back and watch them. You never know. Maybe it's something that you'll enjoy. Maybe on the flip side, maybe you'll see its age and it didn't age well. Who knows? But it's a lot of fun. That's awesome to hear, because I'm with you. It gets better and better. So if you watch this the first time, didn't like it, this is our public service announcement. Go watch it. Again, it's on Disney Plus for free. Check it out. Maybe you'll be like me, where it's gotten a little better, or maybe even Seth. Maybe you hate it. Maybe you'll love it. So that's really cool. That's awesome. Well, there you go, folks. Toy Story 4 is in the books. We were able to consider it. Now we have done all the Toy Story films. And again, we'll keep giving the shout out. 30 years is when the first one came out. If you're watching this and it's in September, It's going to be in theaters, so be sure to go check that out. I think I'm going to have to go check it out personally. It's been 30 years since I've seen it on the big screen. I think it's going to be a great time. One of those movies you probably want to check out. But before we wrap things up, Seth, why don't you tell the good people where they can find and connect with us?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can email us at moviesatgrandmashouse@gmail.com. We have a newsletter, keep up to date all things Movies at Grandma's House. We're on Patreon, so check us out. And go to movieposters.com, type in Grandma's House at checkout for 15% off.
That's it. And again, be sure you're on our newsletter. You can win a free poster, like one behind me, like behind Seth. That is our monthly contest. And like we mentioned, if you want to make your movie night more fun, you will get this for free by being on the newsletter. It's that simple. Sign up and we will send it all to you, and you'll be all set for your next movie night. Well, that's going to do it for now for our time at Grandma's house. But don't worry, we will be back soon. So in the meantime, remember to be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye, everybody.